Well, we spent a lot of time over the last 2 or 3 weeks crying and whining and complaining about all these never-ending playoff scenarios, and to a certain degree, I've been guilty of some of that too. But one thing I've been reminding people on all these call-in shows over the last couple of weeks is, it always looks like a mess with 2 or 3 weeks to go, and then a lot of it ends up working itself out on the football field in the last couple of weeks. And boy, we got a lot of that going on today. I wasn't sure I'd live long enough to see Tennessee fans rooting for the Florida Gators, but man, I saw it today. And, hey, shout out to Tennessee. They have backed their way into the playoffs on the coattails of a terrible Florida team. Unbelievable. Florida takes down Ole Miss in the swamp earlier today in a Lane Kiffin special. I don't know how much longer these coaches are going to continue to blindly rely on analytics before they realize that analytics is not a substitute for the human brain. It's not a substitute for coaching. It's not a substitute for in-game, in-the-moment decision making. And while all teams are guilty of it to some degree, the leaning on analytics, Ole Miss is the worst. Brian Kelly is pretty bad, but Lane getting down there and not kicking field goals over and over and over again all season long with LSU and Ole Miss in particular. And while there's never really one particular reason why Ole Miss lost by one score, so anytime you have a one-score game, we talk about this all the time. There's always going to be a handful of calls by the officials that you can say, well, if it went that way instead of this way, or a turnover, or a bounce of the ball, or a drop pass, or a missed field goal, or choosing not to kick the field goal. But in the case of Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, it's just over and over and over again. The guy gets down in the red zone 3 times, you come away with 0 points, mostly because you refuse to fucking kick field goals. Now, you lost by 7, so you say even if they had the 2 field goals, they still lose by 1. Well, if they're down by 1 at the end of that game, they can kick a field goal to win it instead of having to score a touchdown to tie it up. It's just, I don't get it. Analytics are a tool. They're a tool that should be used to help make decisions. It's not something that should be used instead of making a decision. I don't get it. Just a disastrous loss for Ole Miss. And, some bad throws at the end of the game by Jackson Dart. I get that too. But, Jackson Dart's one of the best players on that team. He's had a really good year. He did not have a good 2 minutes. Jackson Dart threw 3 interceptions in the last 2 minutes of that game. One of them ended up not counting, but so not good there. But again, he wouldn't have had to been forcing those throws and trying to score a touchdown at the end if Ole Miss just takes those chip shot field goals early in the game. Come on, man. You're inside the 5-yard line one time. Instead of kicking a field goal, you don't get it. You turn it over. Another time inside the 20, 4th and 2, you don't go. You go for it. You don't get it. 6 points you left on the field. You missed another field goal in the game, 9 points. I don't know. It's hard to feel bad for a team and a coach that loses that way. You're paying Lane Kiffin 10, 11, 12 million a year, whatever you're paying him to do what? Read an analytics chart? I don't get it. And again, Lane Kiffin isn't the only one that does it, but he's in the spotlight right now. And I just got done watching Lane Kiffin's post-game press conference, and I quit watching halfway through. He had referenced analytics 3 times in the first 6 minutes of his post-game press conference. I don't get it. You can hire any retard off the street to read an analytics chart. Why do you need to pay a coach $12 million to do that? I don't know. Colorado down bad to Kansas. 4-win Kansas, 20-14. Colorado's playoff hopes also circling the drain here if they can't come back and get a win over Texas. Over Kansas. Kansas has got the ball here. They're about to kick a field goal that will make it what is 6 plus 3? 9? This will make it a 9-point game. If it's good, I'll let you know if it makes it here. 10 seconds to go until halftime of that one. Arizona State. Shout out my boy Scattaboo, running back for Arizona State. Here's the field goal. It's up and good. And it is 23-14. There's a flag down. So I don't know. We'll check back on that in a minute. But my boy Scattaboo is putting it on the BYU. As of right now, after the first half of this Arizona State BYU game, it's pretty clear. Scattaboo better than BYU, at least so far. Is it 21-0 still? Let's get a score update for you in that too, and also, well, 21-3. Okay, so 21-3. Shout out for the BYU. Did manage to score a field goal. Texas coming on late in the second quarter. This was a close game early. Texas now up 21-7 at home over Kentucky. I tell you, I watched Texas, and for the life of me, I can't figure them out. They're obviously a talented team. They've got NFL players all over the place. But I don't know. Something looks off about them. And they're up 21-7. I don't have anything bad or negative or to say about the way they're playing today or anything like that. But I don't know. They're a little bit. I hope they're not going to be like Indiana. Indiana beat a bunch of nobodies, and they got blown out by the only good team they played today, Ohio State. Texas has played absolutely nobody. One of the easiest schedules in the SEC. The only good team they played is Georgia, and they lost by 15. They'll win this one against Kentucky, but again, Kentucky's 4-6. I don't know. I'm not trying to put Texas down. They're ranked in the top 5. They're probably headed to the SEC championship game as long as they can beat Texas A&M next week. They're tied for first in the SEC. But I don't know. When I watch them play, they don't look. Something looks off about them. I don't know. Maybe the Texas fans can let me know if I'm right, wrong. What do you? How do you feel about it? I don't know. Anyway, great games on. Louisville's up big over whoever it is they're playing. The only reason I even know anything about that or care is because I bet on the game. Minnesota's up on Penn State 19-16 at halftime. There was a lot of teams this week that was on upset alert. Ole Miss at Florida, they already went down. Ohio State and Indiana, Ohio State came through, blew Indiana out. Penn State was another one on the road at Minnesota, and they're down 3. Colorado and BYU, basically 1 and 2 in the Big 12, both on upset alert and both losing at halftime. Colorado down 23-14, headed to halftime. Now the field goal was good, by the way. Colorado gets the ball to start the second half, and BYU just getting humiliated here. So I don't know. I haven't sat down and done the math. Colorado's got 2 losses, but only 1 Big 12 loss. So if they lose this game, they'll have 2 Big 12 losses. If BYU loses, BYU will have 2 Big 12 losses. And Arizona State, who's beating BYU, already has 2 Big 12 losses. So you're going to end up with 3 teams tied with 2 losses each. I'm assuming it would be Colorado versus Arizona State in the Big 12 title game, barring whatever weird might happen next week in the Big 12. But without divisions and increasing the number of teams inside these conferences, it's becoming harder and harder to try to figure out who might make some of these conference championship games. But, man, how about Tennessee backing into the playoffs today? You know, Tennessee's not good enough to win their way into the playoff, but they're good enough to back their way in unless they lose next week to Vandy. That's not going to happen, is it? Please tell me you're not going to lose to Vandy next week and fall out of the playoffs. Oh, boy, that would be bad. That would be really bad. What do y'all think? Is Colorado going to come back and win? They're down 9. Kansas has looked... Neal, running back for Kansas, Neal, he's a problem. He's a problem for Colorado, and Travis Hunter's a problem for Kansas. Well, Travis Hunter's a problem for everybody who plays, but anyway, get your predictions in, I guess. Is Colorado going to come back and win this one? Is Arizona State going to hang on and beat the BYU? And what's going to happen here? I have a feeling Texas runs away. I bet Texas just beat truth in advertising. I took Texas minus 18. So I hope Texas blows them out. I took Texas minus 18, and I took Arizona State minus 3, and I took Louisville minus 7.5, and they're beating whoever they're playing again. Do you want me to? Fine. I'll look. Clemson's up big over the Citadel. That's great. Nebraska's up over Wisconsin. Texas Tech's up on Oak State. Where's Louisville? South Carolina's up 14-9 over Wofford. Hey, dang. Where is Louisville? Army and Notre Dame tonight. Notre Dame's got God bless the troops and yellow ribbon on a tree and all that. I get it. Notre Dame's going to beat them senseless. I have a feeling. What the hell is this? Now I'm getting mad because I can't find this Louisville game. I probably done scrolled past it 4 or 5 times. The hell is it? Where's Louisville? Oh, there we go. 17-0. Louisville's up over Pitt. I've got Louisville minus 7.5. Pay-Lou movement doing all right today. We were 4-2 on the noon games. I took a brutal beat. I had under 52.5 total points in the Ohio State-Indiana game. And Ohio State scored that garbage touchdown with like 30 seconds to go in the game. That made the total points scored 53. I had under 52.5 garbage touchdown at the end. I lose the bet by half a fucking point. So, but I went 4-2 in the noon games, and I'm looking like 3-0 in the afternoon game. So the Pay-Lou movement's going well. But man, the Tennessee Gators. Welcome to the playoffs. Florida bragging about being 6-5. I never thought I'd live long enough to see Florida fans bragging about being 6-5, but here we are. Florida got outgained again. They got outplayed again, but they won again, just like they did last week against LSU. You know, LSU outgained them, outrushed them, outpassed them. This game today, though, turnovers and red zone. I mean, Ole Miss had more turnovers than Florida did, and when Ole Miss got in the red zone, they couldn't fucking score, mostly because their head coach is an idiot who relies on an analytics sheet instead of his own friggin' brain. Anyway, have a great day.